Welcome to this edition of One on One. I am your host, Kyra Rickert. Women in American politics are continually breaking barriers, with Hillary Clinton and Elizabeth Warren as two high-profile examples. However, it's a slower process than most people recognize. Nationally, the U.S. ranks 98th in the world for percentage of women in its national legislature. Here in Massachusetts, less than 25% of statewide legislative offices are held by women. We're pleased to be joined by Gabrielle Coletta, the Associate Director of the Massachusetts Women Political Caucus, to discuss the challenges and direction to realize a more balanced representation. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So you obviously are a part of the Massachusetts Women Political Caucus, which was founded in 1971, as you know, and today your group endorses 92% of women legislators. What initiatives does the MWPC do when representing a candidate?
So when women come to us, right, they've already gone through half of the battle, which is deciding that they want to run for office. Okay. So when they come to us, we know that they've undertaken a very steep decision in their lives. So when they approach the caucus, they have to go through a questionnaire process, and then they go to an interview process. Okay. Once they are endorsed, we are able to give them field support. So some of the initiatives that we're going to take on this upcoming summer for the municipal elections are going to be sending out volunteers to them. We're also going to be doing PAC parity parties, which is hosted locally, right? So you have a group of women who might not be able to make it to a Boston fundraiser or to a fundraiser in general, just in their towns. But you know, they get together with their friends and their family. They come around and they talk about this issue about women being in politics, and they're able to donate to our political action committee. So on top of that, we give them technical support, we give them strategic advice, and some fundraising advice as well. That's
great. Can you tell us your experience and how much gender disparity you see in the politics?
Well, I got my start as a very young college-age student just trying to get a foot in the door somehow. And I saw the leadership that my mom brought to the table, but when it came to the elected officials, there were no women around when I was young. I mean, there was one person who I credit as one of my role models, Diane Modica. She's a Boston City Councilor. And then, you know, I love all my elected officials, but there really was no woman in a leadership role. So I always thought to myself, oh, I don't think that I can be involved in politics. So with that, I came to the caucus, and it really motivated me to be a part of the political process, either that, you know, whether that meant to be in a campaign or whether that meant to be the candidate, I wanted to get in somehow. So that was the first part of the question. The second part was, what's the type of disparity that I see? It's very subconscious, right? It's not outright.
Okay.
So it's difficult navigating kind of that realm because people do want to see you succeed, especially if you're part of a certain community. And it doesn't matter whether or not you're a man or a woman, but there are subtle differences, right? So there's something out there, I think it's a study that proves that women have to prove that they're more competent than men. Men are able to show up, and they're, you know, if they're outspoken, they're seen as leaders. If women are seen as outspoken, they're seen as bossy.
Yes.
Right? We've seen
that double standard that's definitely have come about. If you're a woman, especially, like, people are very much looking like how women dresses or how they act, and like it's very much more critical on them than a male. And do you know why that is?
I don't think it's intentional. Is the thing. It's subconscious.
Okay.
And that's what I see, and I know that there are a lot of guys out there who will be very outspoken about getting women involved in politics, but their actions will say something different.
Okay. In the New York Times articles, What Happens When Women Legislate, which was published on April 18th this year, the article says many have called President Trump's election a wake-up call for American women. One, this has inspired their increased grassroots activism and political involvement. Do you believe this to be true?
It's called the Trump bump, I guess you can say. Okay. So and that's referring to the amount of women who have made it apparent that they want to run for office. And I think that it stems from the fact that we had somebody on the national stage say things about women that weren't necessarily appropriate. And women were looking around waiting for this person, this light and, I'm going to say knight in shining armor, but then that even has a male context, like this woman in shining armor to come and save them from whatever was happening. But now they're looking around and they're saying, that's me.
Yeah.
I can do it.
So
and
people are looking now within themselves, like, I can do this. I'm that strength, that voice that we need clearly in politics.
Exactly. And we're seeing that even starting on the board of aldermen or, the school committee, women are running for that, and we're starting the pipeline.
Yeah.
So you start at school committee or, council, city council, and then you build up to state rep. Oh, well, maybe I can be a state senator, and you move to state senator. And you can be like Catherine Clark, who's now representing Massachusetts in Congress.
And that's amazing. So with more women joining in, now we're going to see more women running against women. So do you think these stereotypes from men against women are going to translate to women against women?
So when we see a man versus a woman, there's a lot of different things that the woman has to go through, right? If it's people will ask her more about what's your family situation like? Do you have enough time for your kids? Where they won't really ask that as a male.
Yes, exactly.
But it's funny because when two women run against each other, people ask, well, what do you think of one another? That
they
never
try to
really
make a little drama going on.
Exactly. And you never do this, or people in general never do this between two men. You never ask what their personal opinions are of each other. So I definitely will think that will be a
more
big thing.
Do you think there's any way we can fix the gender problem and get more women into politics? Even though we have the Trump bump, we have all that going, what do you think there needs to be another push?
I think it's a cycle. Okay. So we need to start the cycle, and it starts very young, teaching girls to speak up, to be leaders. You're not bossy, you're just a leader. That's fine. And then moving on to mentoring women, letting them know that these opportunities are available. So in college, if you see a young woman who has a potential to fill in a leadership spot and be an effective and productive leader, reel her in, loop her into what you're doing. Connect her with somebody who you think might benefit her.
Yes.
Exactly. And then it comes down to just asking, if you know somebody who you think would be a good leader, not even just a politician, but a good leader, you want to say, you should maybe run for office. Your skills in the business world are transferable into politics.
And then it can help all of us and show more and more people that we care and that we're getting involved.
Exactly. And then again, the cycle. So then this woman is in a leadership role, and then a little girl looks up to her and says, I can do it.
Yes. And then that's how we'll get more people. And how should we, as people who maybe don't want to get involved, not get involved, like run, how should we get involved in helping women? So
volunteering is very big. Just getting involved in different activities too. There's women organizations all across Massachusetts in particular that put on events. I know the Mass Women's Political Caucus will be endorsing candidates this upcoming summer. So if you're looking for opportunities to volunteer, just visit our website, mwpc.org. That's my plug.
Perfect. Well, thank you for joining us on this edition of One on One.
Thank you for having me.